New this morning, guests are back in their rooms this morning after firefighters had to clear out the Cherry Creek DoubleTree last night due to a carbon monoxide leak in the hotel. Denver Fire says the leak was coming from an issue with the boiler. They evacuated both towers while they looked into it. Firefighters ventilated the building to clear out the gas. They say no one got sick from the leak. Developing this morning, Denver police have arrested 4 people who they say killed a popular East Colfax community activist last month. DPD says they are still trying to identify a 5th suspect they believe was also involved in the shooting. 9 News reporter John Glasgow has been following the story for us. And John, police believe the shooting was related to gang violence.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Denver police believe that Ba Kang was caught up in the gunfire. She was unloading her groceries from her car outside of her apartment when she was hit by a stray bullet. DPD says that the group of teenagers saw a car that they didn't think belonged in New Freedom Park. Police say they fired more than 3 dozen times.
It's a residential area. It's extremely tragic and senseless that the result is the death of Ma.
All 4 suspects taken into custody are 18 to 20 years old. A 5th suspect is believed to be involved, but this morning Denver police have not identified that person. The death of Ma Kang has stunned this community of diverse residents and businesses. Brennan Green, who leads the East Colfax Community Collective, hopes that this will bring attention to what's happening in his neighborhood. He wants the city's help in finding and making this community a little better place to live.
We would love to see this tragedy lead to a heightened awareness of what it means when a city neglects a neighborhood. We see a systemic poor response time to 911 calls in our neighborhood. We are lacking in basic community amenities in our neighborhood. We're one of the only neighborhoods in Denver that lacks both a recreation center and a public library.
So you heard Green mention 911 response time. Some witnesses complained about how long it took to get help. Denver police say that they have increased the presence of uniformed and undercover officers in that area. Again, they are still looking for a 5th suspect, so anyone with information is asked to contact police. Gary.
Well, at least they got some of those guys arrested. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
A man convicted of attempted murder this week is facing new charges. This after attacking the person who he originally tried to kill. This time he attacked him in a courtroom. Monday, a jury decided that Daniel Alaya was guilty of attempted murder and assault tied to a hit-and-run crash last summer. They say he intentionally ran into a man who was walking his dog. The victim did survive and testified at his trial. That's when they say that he jumped up from behind the defense table and hit the victim multiple times. He will face new charges in that attack. Ayala will be sentenced in the hit-and-run case in October. Today, the man accused of shooting and killing 3 people and hurting 8 others at a Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs is back in court. Prosecutors are trying to get a judge to force Robert Deere to take medication they say will make him competent to stand trial. Deere is facing charges in both state and federal court. Both cases have been on hold for years because he has repeatedly been found not competent to stand trial. A prison psychologist told the judge Deere is refusing to take medications. Tuesday in court, Deere interrupted the hearing to say that taking the medication was against his religion and that they want to turn him into a zombie. The hearing is set to wrap up today. The president is taking his message for a safer America to the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Speaking in Wilkes-Barre, the president laid out the framework for his plan to fund community policing and gun reform. President Biden will return to Pennsylvania on Thursday for a primetime speech at an Independence National Historical Park in Philadelphia. He's expected to focus on how America's rights and freedoms are still under attack. The Biden administration plans to give more monkeypox vaccines to cities that have large events planned for the LGBTQ+ community. They're also launching a pilot program to support minority communities.
We're launching a new equity intervention pilot program that aims to directly reach queer communities of color that may face barriers in assessing vaccines currently. Yesterday, a person diagnosed with monkeypox died in Houston. They had other severe conditions as well. An autopsy will determine whether monkeypox was the cause of their death. If it was, it's believed this would be the first deadly case of monkeypox in the United States. State data shows there are 204 cases in Colorado with 7 people in the hospital. The CDC's vaccine advisors are now set to vote this week on whether to recommend a brand new COVID booster.
Pfizer and Moderna won approval for their vaccines that have been updated with the Omicron variant in mind. If regulators give the okay, the shots could be the first vaccines released without results from human trials. The Biden administration pushed vaccine makers to have boosters ready for the fall. The companies only had the time to test the new shots in mice, not people. Now, that is not unusual. They do that in other vaccines, especially how they evaluate new flu vaccines every year. But it means they won't have a great deal of data on how much better these vaccines will be compared to the original shots. If the CDC and FDA do approve, the new shots could be available around Labor Day. Well, teachers and support staff in Denver Public Schools are negotiating new contracts. For teachers, it is the first time back at the bargaining table since the end of their strike back in 2019. The district is holding another round of negotiations this week. The Denver Classroom Teachers Association pushing for smaller class sizes, more prep time, and a 12% pay increase to cover the cost of living. The Union for Office and Support Staff says all their negotiations are going well except for the pay part. They want the district to bump up their starting pay so it's even with paraprofessionals and other support staff.
We're burning people out. We know the field of education is losing employees at a very quick pace, and that is not just teachers. That's in all facets, and it is also office professionals.
The district is resisting. It says its pay offers are competitive and its classroom sizes are some of the lowest in the metro area. The teacher's contract expires at midnight tonight. The union says the goal is to finish negotiations before then. They will start talking at 9 o'clock this morning.
More than 5,000 Coloradans who went to Westwood College will have all of their student loans forgiven. The U.S. Department of Education announced it's canceling loans tied to the college system because Westwood misled students. The college, based in Colorado, had 15 campuses around the country along with online classes. Investigators found the campuses misrepresented students' job and salary prospects and their ability to transfer credits. The forgiveness applies to all students who went there from 2002 through 2015. The college shut down in 2016. Democrat Attorney General Phil Weiser says borrowers in Colorado will have more than $100 million worth of loans canceled. This is separate from the bigger loan forgiveness plan the president announced last week.
One thing you want to know about the weather today? Yes, we're back in the 90s, maybe an isolated storm later on this afternoon. Then tomorrow, more in the way of sunshine, less in the way of storms, but more in the way of heat, with temperatures getting into the mid-90s in some locations.